Alrighty, welcome everyone. It is Jaws Munch. We're going to be taking a look at a video today on air, on All That Glitters. Today, this was a game we played a couple days ago. I think it was actually, like 1 day ago, and it was absolutely fantastic. So I just figured, why not cast it, let people see kind of some ideas of how to play air effectively. We do have a bit of luck though, because to be honest, our the person we're up against is a bit of a lower OS, and so that gives us a little bit of an advantage for what we are doing here. We're going to be abusing that fact quite significantly. So let's go ahead and get speeding through here. I wanted to attempt a bombing run, so that was one of the things I was really focusing on here, was getting prepared for a bombing run. You can see that I paid for T1, a T1 constructor here, and he's going to send that right over to me, which is fantastic. And that gets us all of our mechs up relatively fast. We have one fighter out. And I like to send a fighter out to the air player really early on. I find that usually gets some value at least. It just kind of depends. You can see here I'm sending him out on a fight command to go harass the opponent. And usually that turns out pretty good. If they end up going for an air constructor, then I get to shoot it down for free usually. Or if they have another fighter, I can shoot that fighter down. Or, the occasional transport I could end up getting along the way. As you can see, he is building transports. So that would have been a lucky find, although not necessarily common to really get to go after. Anyway, so we got a little bit of basic scouting off there. And I know that he is the weaker player on their team, so I'm going to try to abuse that. We got our first construction turret going up here, and a decent amount of windmills. Energy being exceptionally valuable as an air player, because all of your aircraft cost thousands, and triples and quadruples of thousands of energy. So you want to make sure to have a lot of energy available and a lot of energy storage as well for T2 construction. We got a little bit of harassment over here from blue, and we're going to send out a shuriken to stun this guy and hopefully help keep them from losing all of their defenses there, all of their production. I mean, sorry about that. Yeah, it's always nice to have like 3 or 4 shuriken. I think I have, let me see, how many do I have across the map here? Total of 4 total shuriken, and I'm going to be looking for an early bombing run. I'm probably going to only queue up maybe 7 fighters or so, and then I'm going to try a bombing run. Now, to be honest, this is something that I did attempt on him last game, and I think he probably is aware of that. So we might not be able to do it quite as effectively this time as we did last game. But early bombing runs can sometimes have really good value. And this is why Shuriken are so nice. They were not able to snipe that metal extractor because we stopped them right there. Having a good vision of everything out on the field that you that is coming across, making sure that the early game is protected. It is often your job as the air player to make sure they do not get overrun with spam and people leaking through at the beginning of the game. So things are looking good so far. Our eco player is doing great, has a massive wind farm, massive production here, and we are still pumping. I'm going to speed this up a little bit because I think we're mainly just waiting on getting to the point where we're going to do some bombers. We have a self-sacrifice over here. Perfect position for that. And we have a decent amount of fighters still. A little bit of leak here, so we're probably going to end up sending some shuriken to deal with this as well. If I pay attention, yep, we got some shuriken here. But that's a lot. That's a lot of rovers to deal with. Technically rascal, I guess. So they're going to get through and do a little bit of damage, but we stopped a handful of them at least. Stopped a handful of them. So that is good. Alright, let's keep on going. Couple more fighters coming out. And we're getting close to where I want to be on the amount of fighters we have here. Ooh, good plays by Joel, pushing in some damage on the front there. And same with Phantom. It looks like Super Toast is actually getting surrounded here. Well done by Smith and Phantom, doing massive damage to Super Toast's army here. And Super Toast is going to go down there for sure. No doubt about it. Good hits, good kills there. And he is now surrounded. Phantom's going to need to make a break for it, but I don't know if he's going to. Oh, he's going for the charge there. Probably would have been better to do a fall back instead, but he went for the chase down. And we got bombers coming out. 4 bombers right now. And you can see the air player has a decent amount of fighters. Because last time I abused him a bit too much. So let's see. How many fighters do I got? Total of 20 in comparison to his 17. But he has more cranking out as we speak. And we just recently started our metal upgrades. But I'm focusing still on the bombing. I really want to make sure that that bombing run does well. So that's my highest priority right now, is the bombers. And then after that, we'll be transitioning to a priority on the metal extractors here. Ooh, yeah, he needs to eat that. I remember telling him, hey, buddy, don't forget, don't walk off with a 90% commander. What are you doing? Yeah, you got to get that metal. Eat it up, even if you're low. It's valuable. And here we go. Bombing run is taking off. Nope. Juked. I juked myself. Getting a couple more shuriken out. Across the field. And the bombers are off. Now, one thing I do like to try to do, especially with a big bombing run, is really try to tighten up the distance between the bomber and fighter groups as much as possible. I don't do it perfectly here at all. I just kind of charge in. And this was just to kind of get a test to see how many they had. And unfortunately, I don't think I get a ton of value here. I bomb a little bit, got some windmills and a few mexes, but that was it because he had some fighters left over. So no real damage on the air player, unfortunately. But a little bit of economy damage. I don't think it was a whole, like a huge waste. It just wasn't amazing either. So there's that. Anyway, we're getting ecos up right now, pumping out the metal extractors, and we are broke as a joke. Look at this. 0 energy, 0 metal. Horrible place to be. I think I'm probably going to want to reclaim some of these buildings to just try to maximize my economy with those metal extractors. Wind speed is just really hurting us this game, staying around 5 for a while here. Not able to fill up all these energy storages that I did build, which is really quite unfortunate. Things are going good across the fronts though. No big difficulties, nothing too hard going on here. Just some basics. Let's go ahead and speed past this transition. We end up going for some energy or some solar panels. Those are good just to get your energy flowing again, especially if wind is giving you trouble. A few solar panels can just boost you over the edge and keep your metal extractors mining away while you're waiting for that energy to pick back up. Good way to get to 0 OS. Exactly. All right. Excellent. We got a couple constructors out as well. These guys are just going to help follow this guy around. And we got the transport out finally. He's going to be carrying this guy around to locations, just like a speed to speed up the total process of going from mex to mex to mex, because it's pretty far spread for air. And we're going to be working on that fusion reactor. Now, we have almost no fighters out, which is a bad deal, honestly. I probably should have gotten a lot more fighters pumping at the start, you know, because right now we're very bomb susceptible. Yeah, and I finally realize it. But I don't know what my plan is here. Technically, I should be going for fighters, but I'm just like, I guess, doing a very, very risky transition here. Would you like to review? Sure, I can do that later. Um, yeah, very, very risky fusion reactor here, where I'm just going all in on on my fusion without building any fighter backup. So, you know, you might say that's a bad play, but it's also abusing the fact that I have a new person in the air position on the enemy team, so that's taking advantage of my resources, right? We got our first fusion reactor up. We got 2,000 metal on our income right now, and energy is no longer going to be a problem. So we're going to slowly start getting these windmills deleted as soon as I remember to do that. Sometimes it takes me a minute to do that, but it is best to try to delete those windmills. Excellent with the fusion reactors. Exactly what we want to see. So many energy converters for T1 because we just had a massive overflow. You can see here I finally queued up our wind our windmills to be eaten up here, creating space. That's really all this is about, is creating space more than anything. If you have plenty of space and you don't need to change where your build power is, then you don't have to reclaim all of your windmills at all. But I like to do that just to give me a little bit more room for expansion later on. And we're cranking out some T2, and this is where we start our fusion, or our advanced fusion reactors here. And my strategy for this game is extremely cool. I don't fully formulate my strategy until much later on, but it's around this time that I'm gonna realize, wait a second, I can do something super cool here. You can see no lol cannon for me. That's because on stream I was talking about how I want to put a lol cannon up somewhere. You can see I end up setting up this a standard location for a lol cannon. We got the screamer, some anti-air turrets, more screamers, build turrets, shields, anti-nuke, everything air player could possibly want. Getting prepared for a lol cannon. And everyone, while I'm saying this, is saying I'm crazy, telling me that it's a terrible decision. And as I was building it, I kind of determined that, yeah, it was a bad placement. Because I was looking, later on, I was looking around to see, like, where on earth could I hit with this? And all a lol cannon really hits is those, like, front three economies, which is good. Like, it's good to be able to hit them. But I'm looking for something a little bit better, you know? Something that really goes beyond all reason, rather than just within reason, you know? I want to hit the eco with my lol cannon. So anyway, we're continuing eco. We're almost done with our fusion, our advanced fusion here. And I probably could have been a little bit more specific. But this was my new setup and design that I came up with. A couple bulwarks here. No one would really think anything of a couple bulwarks going up on the front line. That's pretty normal, pretty standard, right? And then you add a couple screamers and the anti-air and an anti-nuke. But then you put your lol cannon right in the center of it all, and you have yourself an undefeatable fortress of destruction. So this was my new plan. Defend the front line, maintain control, and then scale, and eventually dumpster my opponent with sheer force. Our first advanced fusion reactor is going up, and everyone on the team is doubting me at this point, saying that I am definitely crazy for something like this, which I probably am a little bit crazy for something like this, but you just have to believe. So M stall, yes, 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 yes. Many M stalls here. M stalls beyond belief, beyond all reason in M stalling. But we're just focusing scale. Now this does take basically all game to build. I'm not gonna lie, this does take a while to get up. So we're gonna skip past some of this because most of my game at this point is just slowly scaling and then building a frontline defense here with the occasional like collecting metal across the front line while also pumping out fighters because I want to make sure that I have a fighter wall that is maintained just in case they do something as air. And I wouldn't necessarily let's say this. If you are up against a high OS air player, don't try this because it's not going to work. You're going to get bombed, you're going to get harassed with fighters constantly. You're going to lose your front line. You're going to probably get economy destroyed because of your bombings. Okay? And that's why you got to be cautious. But because I'm not up against a high OS, I can abuse and use this unique strategy to build a frontline log cannon. It's the win play. Can't you see here? I said it on in the game, so that means it's true. This is the winning play. Would it work versus 20 OS? It depends on how confident of an air player 20 OS is. I remember when I was 20 OS, I was not a confident air player, and I would have done nothing aggressive. I would have spammed fighters, and so it probably would have worked against me as a 20 OS air player who was not really sure how to play air. But if it's someone who mains air and is 20 OS, probably not going to work. So we got our second APHIS, and we're starting to pump out construction, air constructors to come and assist with the production of these bulwarks. And the bulwark is really nice because it shuts down spam and it has the heavy lasers. So if for some reason they try to scout the plan here, no one is going to really be able to get deep into it because of the amount of weapons that this has. I mean, it has a total of, what, 5 weapons on it? 4 weapons on it, I think. Yeah, a total of 4 different weapons. 1, 2, 3, 4 weapons right there. So it can really shut down spam too, which is nice. That's one thing that is unique about the bulwark that I think the Pulsar does lack in. Anyway, let the M stall continue. Here you see they're starting to push us, but these bulwarks are just gonna knock it down. Knock down every ounce that they push in. And the air player is in T2. He has a mix of T2 and T1. With a couple gunships. But he's not playing aggressively at all, which is nice. And we're starting on the anti-air portion. Now, keep in mind, the order in which you build everything is very, very important. If you just build the pulsars and then go for the log cannon, you're going to be very susceptible to bombing runs. Whereas if you build everything around where the log cannon is going, you're going to be able to defend it properly. So you need your anti-nuke, because otherwise, if they have a nuke and they launch it right there, you're going to lose. You're going to lose everything, all of your metal, big waste of money. You can see they're pinging on the enemy team. Hey, look, there's a problem over here. I'm actually curious what he sees. Let's see. He's got vision of a couple bulwarks going up, but he sees my fighters. And so they go in. Thankfully, I had a couple of the flat cannons, and we were able to wipe most of those, but we did lose some of our constructors, which is a little bit of a pain. It's not great, but it's not the end of the world either. We still have a lot of constructors, and we do have most of our fighters still there. So we're looking pretty good. And we're on to our 4th APHIS, and we have still another constructor being pumped out here just to get our our build setup once again going after that minor setback. Gunships coming in, but those stand absolutely no chance. They didn't have any defenses tied to them, so they just get shot down basically instantly. And we got, it looks like a heavy plasma cannon somewhere. Oh no, that's just the Quaker. Super long range from the Quaker. These bulwarks doing plenty of work. I honestly need more fighters. I have only a handful. Thankfully, also Dino is pumping fighters too. I had communicated with him about what my plan was, so he's very well aware that we might need a couple extra fighters. So it's very good that he did that just in case. And we started getting our production going once again. Let's go ahead and speed up here. You can see we're starting to overflow just a hair on the metal. Just a hair. Working on our 5th APHIS. Eat with Aircons and I would be rich. Yes. I do that on occasion. It's not very frequent though. I probably could have done that a little bit more. It's just, I think they have an anti-air somewhere in here. I remember getting shot down a couple times, but I think it's just that one, I guess. These two. So they do have a decent amount. There's also another anti-air tower. This guy here. Yeah, this one was shooting us down if we go in there too deep. But yeah, it is a good idea to try to do that on occasion. The bulwarks are just so fantastic. They ended up pushing here with a ton of spam, but it was only T1. And I just helped shoot down most of these gunships here. Gunships eliminated. Ooh, look at this. Good shots there. And honestly, this is such easy killings because it's all T1. Thankfully, all T1. Ooh, good stop there with this advanced exploiter. Not a bad play. These bulwarks putting in some good work. We got our first screamer up, our second screamer up, and then shortly after that, we'll be getting our anti-nuke. That bulwark getting super good value. Blasting away at these targets. Total DPS of 1,604. Nothing to be trifled with. You do not want to have to go up against bulwarks. Unless you have your own AA, then I guess you go full in. I guess you could. It depends. You know, as everything, it depends. Ooh, good kills. Good kills here, unfortunately. Wiping out our guy on the canyon side. That's unfortunate. Now the log cannon begins. And this is where I start overflowing metal, actually. And so pretty soon after that, I'm going to be switching over to a couple more constructors coming out because of how much I'm overflowing. I end up overflowing by a lot for a solid couple minutes. And that's because we've got 6 APHIS fully funded, functional. And here we go. We get a couple more air labs queued up. This is just to help boost our build power on the front line. And we're going to have these go straight here and help with building this Calamity. And nothing they have is really going to stop us here, unfortunately. I think they all have been trying to build some bubbles. Not everyone, but some of them have. Calamity goes up. It's beautiful. And here's a big push. But thankfully, Dino, also part of the Peeps clan, has a very good portion of T3 here, so he's able to shut down these tanks without too much difficulty. Only a handful get through. Although it's still quite a large amount. Already have one building here. They're so upset. They're so upset. Ooh, our canyon definitely being collapsed on. My one shuriken getting in the stuns. Unfortunately, not enough to really help too much there. We are 10 minutes away. So it's like a 40-minute Calamity. I think I got it a little bit faster than that. They don't really do any heavy pushing. Here, I didn't really notice that this was happening until it was a bit too late, so I had to send some constructors, or my commander over to shut these down. If they had hit, it would have been really, really bad. They wiped out all my T1 and a couple T2, but thankfully I got the D-gun off on them. Oh, it could have been bad. So I determined to build a little bit of defenses here, just in case, since they're having some problems over there. And we are holding. And Dino coming in with these gunships as well, helping just tickle away at these tanks, doing little poke damage, really. Calamity still going up. Another push here. But thankfully we got a lot of big gunships coming in. Some T2 gunships. These are really going to hammer down on these units rather quickly. And I bring in some to help reclaim all of the metal. Because that's what you do, right? Reclaim all the metal and give it to yourself because you're a punk and you don't love your allies. Calamity up in 2 minutes about. Good self-destruction. I did get out a dragon over here just to make sure that we don't end up leaking too much. Couple dragons to help burst down this spam and some of these tanks. Dragons are such a good option because they're very flak resistant. If they start bringing a bunch of flak, it doesn't really matter too much. You can still maintain control by leaving just one dragon in the area. We are at 2 minutes. Good wipes, 2 dragons in. Continuing to help out, and a couple more constructors with the reclaim. We are at 20 seconds. 10, 9. About to be a really bad day for blue team. Oh, it is. I kind of want to grab a screenshot of that, to be honest. There we go. Sorry, guys. Had to grab a screenshot of that. Here we go. Rag firing away. And unfortunately, there's a bubble here. Ooh, we do end up getting some hits on the build power there. Nice. And we barely miss Blue's economy. But we do some damage. It looks like we do get a fusion reactor. Or almost do. We just don't quite hit his Aphis bubble there, which is unfortunate. And also the amount of energy it costs is ridiculous. Every shot I'm running out of energy. It's quite a lot. We got some damage here. Good kills. firing away, and then we also have Dino pushing in with his T2 or T3. Incredible. And then they also stunned us. They had a EMP launcher over here, and this guy had range into our Ragnarok, I believe. Yeah, it could hit out here relatively easily. You can see it can hit all the way out to here. So we were getting hit by that quite frequently, unfortunately. Otherwise, we'd be doing a lot more damage. Couple hits on the economies here. Good shots. Boom! Aphis gone. And now we aim for Green's economy. And they have their own law cannon here, which I don't think I even realized that, but it was a bit too late anyway. And I got EMP'd once again. Just a constant barrage of EMP missiles. Oh, and here comes the air wave. Look at this. Insane. We have all these screamers firing away. Massive wave of air pushing in. Wow. Insane. Thankfully, Dino had more air than I did even. And he just came in. Wiped them all. Got almost popped this whole economy back here as well. And then Dinos did a bit of scouting too, which gave me a bit better targeting. So now I can hit further in and get more accurate shots. Still stunned. That EMP just takes so long to end. It's ridiculous. And we're breaking through on this side as well. Aiming for their backline economy. Ooh, big explosion over there. I'm not really sure what caused that. But essentially, it's a surrender at this point, because they just know it's over. Anyway, let me know if you guys end up trying Frontline Ragnarok in the future. I think, or I guess it's a Calamity for this one. But I think it's a great opportunity to give it a shot. It just does have some risk tied to it. And definitely make sure that your team is aware of your plan if you want to do something like that. And let me know what you guys think of how that works for you. Anyway, I'll see you guys on the battlefield.